Today is May 28, 2025. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life. This is Pro-Life Week. Well, today I want to jump up on my soapbox. Just want to share some opinions, reflections on the issue of not necessarily abortion, but the issue of the pro-life response to abortion. And apparently there have been some recent Facebook posts, at least in the Southwest Michigan area, that has more of a abolition point of view. Abortion is always wrong. Before I go any further, abortion is always wrong. Trust me. And most of the people I know who are pro-life would be abolitionists because abortion is the willful, intentional act to kill a developing child in the womb. And we have laws against rape, incest. We have laws against murder and child abuse. And I lump abortion in that category of an immoral act perpetrated against an innocent child. So in that sense, I am an abolitionist. I want to ban abortion. I want to ban it. But sometimes, here we are living in the 21st century in a very secularized American society. What we want may not necessarily always be what we can get politically or pragmatically. So let's just talk about this issue. The abolitionists are critical that we're not doing enough to end abortion. We're not doing enough. Right to Life in Michigan has been criticized. They're not doing enough, which, is ridiculous on its face. Every part of the pro-life movement, it's like a pie. And there are different sections in the pro-life movement. And one section might be alternatives or Caring Network that deal directly to women in crisis pregnancies, and they offer hope and love and compassion and care and diapers and clothes and things like that, and spiritual counseling right to the women, right to them. And then you have other groups that are more educational. Then you have some that are more proactive and they do more demonstrating. Then you have others they're more political and they endorse candidates that will get into Lansing or Sacramento or Albany and pass pro-life laws. And if they had a pro-life governor, they could get things passed. So there are many facets to the pro-life movement. It's not a one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter movement. There are many parts that comprise the pro-life movement. And Right to Life in Michigan does tend to be more educational and political. And they work with legislators for the last 50 years trying to pass pro-life laws. Okay. But the abolitionists are critical. We're not doing enough. They're critical of heartbeat laws, the 6-week bans, because they say that women will quicken or hasten their decision to abort so they could get that abortion in before the 6-week ban takes effect. Okay. A lot of this issue has to deal with context and or location. If you're living in Mississippi or Alabama, Oklahoma, where you've got a pro-life governor, a pro-life state Senate and state house, you're going to be able to pass really restrictive pro-life laws that will basically ban abortion from conception. But then you've got other states, like Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, California, after the Dobbs decision, well, they passed laws immediately to basically enshrine abortion through all stages of pregnancy. The Dobbs decision kind of opened up a can of worms because now it's a 50-state battle, and every state is a battle zone. And here in Michigan, we had Proposal 3. And Proposal 3 did so much damage to our pro-life laws because the following year, the legislature passed by Governor Rittner, passed the Reproductive Health Act. And that repealed practically every single pro-life law that we had passed since the mid-1970s. And there was nothing we could do about it because we didn't have control of the legislature to stop it. We could not stop it. And back in 1972, go back a little history lesson here. Back in 1972, there was a referendum in Michigan in the November election that would have legalized abortion through the first 5 months of pregnancy for no reason at all. And the pro-life movement, which was at that time scattered all these little independent groups across the state, they came together, formed a coalition called Voice of the Unborn, and it waged a short but very effective campaign against this referendum. And all through the summer and fall, opinion polls said that we were going to lose. One poll said 57%. Another poll said 59% that we would lose. Well, come election day of 72, we won 61 to 39%. Michigan became, or was declared, a pro-life state. 2.5 months later, Roe v. Wade came along, and our great victory in November was put on the shelf. And abortion became legal in all 50 states. And it was legal until 2022 when the Dobbs decision took it back to the states. And that's where we are now. So when it went back to the states, places like Mississippi and Alabama, they jumped right in and said, oh, we can do it now. We can ban abortion because of the Dobbs decision. And they did it. They banned abortion. Other states passed heartbeat laws, banning abortion at 6 weeks. I think they felt that was as good as they could get, given the political climate in their states. And then other states, I think one state has a 12-week law. Initially, Mississippi, though the origination for the Dobbs decision was a 15-week ban. So some states, obviously Mississippi's not there anymore because once the Dobbs decision came along, they basically banned abortion. But Michigan is not Mississippi. We are not like some of these southern states or like Oklahoma that has banned abortion from conception. And we have to face the reality that we are living in a different climate after with the issue of the successful passage of Proposal 3 into our state constitution. Abortion is legal through all stages of pregnancy. It's legal, and the abolitionists, they can complain all they want that we're not doing enough, but politically, there's not a whole lot we can do until we can get a new pro-life majorities in the governor's seat as well as in the legislature. We reclaim the House, but we got to get the House and the Senate and the governor's chair. And then you got the issue of how do you overturn Proposal 3? Getting rid of a constitutional amendment is not easy in Michigan. It is not easy. And it's going to take a lot of time and money and advertising to convince the voters to scrap what they just voted in back in 2023. It's going to take a long time and a lot of money to do that. So in the meantime, we're trying to pass what we can by working with the Democrats in the state Senate, who might be willing to approve maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of our bills. We know we can't ban abortion, but what we can do is work to create a climate where women might want to choose life for their babies. We found out through polls that most women choose abortion because they cannot afford a baby. At least they think they cannot afford to raise another child. They're in school, they're working, they're whatever it is, they cannot afford a baby. So let's give women some money in their pockets that might encourage them to look a second time at this issue and do what Right to Left in Michigan is advocating, to choose life, the other choice. If women are getting only one choice from Planned Parenthood, abort your baby because you can't afford it. If we can give women another choice by saying, here's more money in your pocket, choose life, well, it's worth it. And here are 3 bills the Right to Life in Michigan is pushing. And we might get some support in the Democratic-controlled state Senate. And maybe even the governor might even sign it. Number 1, establish a child tax credit that would match the federal tax credit. Give more money to the mom. Number 2, right now we don't tax food items. We all know that. But let's have a bill that will have tax-free baby items, diapers, baby furniture, car seats, strollers, high chairs, cribs, anything that's baby related would be tax-free. More money in their pockets. Number 3, establish a child care savings account, similar to these 529 plans for college savings accounts that you could earmark for your kids or your grandkids. So if a grandparent wanted to put money, and parents could put money aside into a savings account, so when a child is born or is a toddler, mom could go back to work because they have raised money in the savings account to help fund daycare. Daycare is really expensive. But if they had some kind of a savings account to help alleviate the pain, maybe women would be willing to have that, bring that baby to term, have that baby, give that baby life, and take advantage of these 3 bills, this package that would give more money in their pockets. Is this an abolitionist approach? No, because this is not banning abortion. This is dealing strictly with money, helping women make a better choice because they have more money. Better choices. And I do resent, maybe that's a strong word, this criticism that the pro-life movement is not doing enough. Look, we lost Proposal 3, and we are looking at this issue differently now. When we were in control, we could call the shots in Lansing, but we don't control the situation anymore. We only have a majority in one house, and we still have a pro-abortion governor who could veto any bill that might even pass. And it's possible these may not even pass. But there's a better chance these will pass than if we passed a law that would require abortion clinic regulations, which I support too. But that's not going to pass because right now the governor is going to say no. So is incrementalism compromise? If compromise is a bad word, then we are in trouble. We have to pass legislation that will survive a legal challenge. And whenever in the past, before Dobbs, when pro-lifers pushed absolutist, no compromise legislation, they never succeeded. They never passed. They always failed because that's not where the country is. We need to pass laws that will survive a legal challenge and survive and thrive. And abolition is not always the best approach. With that, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time.